Hello everyone, it's Dee here with Golden Thread Tarot, and I am actually on here just to have a little talk with you guys. This will probably be a little bit of a shorter message. I don't believe that I'm going to be pulling cards or anything, okay? So if you're willing to just kind of hear me out, because there's something I've been noticing on the channel, there's something I've been kind of meditating on, that I've been praying on, that I've been and I have kind of received some enlightenment that I really want to share with you guys. So this is just going to be a short message. I really don't think I'm going to pull any cards unless Spirit guides me to pull cards at the end of it, okay? So thank you to those who are still here and are willing to just kind of hear me out and give this message a chance, okay? I understand if you're here just for me to pull cards and listen and talk about your situation. I understand that. Moving on. Thank you for those who are still here. All right, and there is something that I really want to talk to you guys about, okay? I noticed on my last video that I put out, okay, a lot of you, not a lot of you, but there were some of you who commented on it who seemed to be having a very adverse reaction to me presenting a side of the story that was not from the perspective of the divine feminine. I understand that the majority of my viewers are divine feminines. I get that, I understand that, and that story that I'll link around, okay, was really being told from the perspective of the divine masculine and of the karmic. And I believe personally that it is important for us as light workers, as divine beings, as those who are awakened, to empathize with other people and to see their side of the story, right? It is important, right? And I want to say the things that I said in that video were absolutely in no way an excuse for those people and for their behaviors. Their behaviors were not good. They were not good, and they deserve to be held to task for their behaviors. But it is also important for us to see why people do the things that they do. Just like on this channel, how I've taken time to talk about divine feminine, talk about other people's childhood trauma, parent wounds, things like that, that give you a deeper understanding as to why you have some trauma responses and why you did some things the way that you did leading up to your awakening, and how you can help heal those things after you have awoken and you see that there is a need to change in your behavior, right? And so there seems to be this big disparity here. And I know that it's not all you guys, right? I know that. I'm very aware of that, But there seems to be this big disparity here between people giving a lot of grace to themselves and then having a problem when I give some grace to the divine masculine or to the karmic, right? It is important that we understand the context and see things from other people's perspectives. Like I said, in that reading, the divine masculine was like, was not making a lot of excuses, was kind of just going along and just kind of like running their life on kind of like autopilot. That's not an excuse. You shouldn't do that, but that doesn't mean that you're divine masculine, and that doesn't mean that the karmic doesn't have reasons to do the things that they do. And it's important for us to understand. I, as a quote unquote awoken or awakened person who is going through stages of awakening, right? But I do have to acknowledge inside of myself that before I went through my awakening, I did karmic things. That I lied to people, that I lied to myself, that I did self-sabotaging behavior, that I cannot lie and say that I wasn't in a karmic relationship just like the divine masculine, making really terrible choices, right? I can't say that. And it's not from my place to sit here and go, divine masculine is just doing this and doing that, and how could they? Because it's easy from the awakened perspective to see, because you have a higher perspective, to see the things in divine masculine's life that are going wrong, right? Because I'm sure when you were in the divine masculine's position and you were still with your karmic, that you did some of the similar things, right? You might not have been dibbling and dabbling in black magic and trying to trap people in baby traps and things like that. I surely hope that you weren't. But if you have been delivered from that kind of behavior, I thank God that you have, okay? But it is important that we don't sit here from our higher perspective and think that that means that we're better than somebody else, you know? An adult and a baby have very different understandings and very different perspective. As an adult, that doesn't make you better than a baby. It just means that you have more clarity, that you have more understanding, and you have a higher brain capacity to notice things in your life, right? That doesn't mean that you're better than the baby. It just means that you're more developed than the baby. And it's not your position to look down on that baby and go, baby, why can't you think like an adult like I can? I'm up here and I've already aged. Well, you've gone through the process of aging. Who are you to look down on that? We don't expect a baby to act like an adult because we understand they don't have the brain capacity, right? Now I understand that an awakened person, that's not exactly like a one-to-one, comparison there, right? Because the divine masculine in most cases is an adult that has a full brain capacity. However, I want you, as a quote unquote awakened, spiritually aware being, to remember a time in your life when you weren't. To remember back to your last karmic relationship and some of the things that you were doing. Now imagine that the positions were switched. Imagine, right, that your divine masculine was the one who was already awakened. And for some of you, that could be the possibility, right? It is typically the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy, no matter the gender, that awakens first. But that doesn't mean that it's now our turn to look down on our divine masculine and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're making these terrible decisions with their life," and and sit there and judge them. It's not our position to judge our divine masculine. Now, I understand you might be sitting there going, "But you deliver messages all the time," because there are divine masculines that do watch my channel. Sometimes I directly, address to a divine masculine because there are divine masculines that watch my channel. There are karmic energies that watch my channel. Not everybody is an awakened divine feminine or divine masculine person that's going to be on this channel. Okay. And I have to talk to them too. And I have to give them a chance to understand that I am trying to see things from their perspective. I'm not sitting here just thinking, oh, I'm a divine feminine. I'm a high priestess. That means I'm better than everybody else. No, I'm not. And I do have to understand that before I did go through my last awakening, oh my God, I think about some of the things that I did in my karmic relationship. Oh my God. Just lying to myself, lying to my friends, lying to my family, I mean, I wasn't doing things to purposely cause people physical harm, but I know that I was causing people unintentional or intentional emotional harm, right? I cannot say that I wasn't, because I know that I was. And I thank God that I have come to the point now where I went through my awakening, where I was held responsible for my karmic actions that I did. And I'm sure there's still some things that I'm doing now that I will look back on, 10, 15 years from now and go, geez, you were acting, oh, you thought you were so awake, and I will look back from a higher perspective. But it's so easy. And we need to check ourselves, okay? You guys love it when I hold the divine masculine to task, when I hold the karmic to task. But you have a problem when I empathize from their side of the issue. And like I said, I know that it's not all of you, but you need to check yourself, okay? Because just like I'll hold them to task, I'll hold you to task too. I'm a real one, okay? Or I try to be. I try to be as real as I possibly can be within my perspective that I'm being given. That means I'm gonna hold you to task too, sis. Or bro, whoever you are that's a divine feminine out there, because I know it's mostly divine feminines that watch my channel. And I'm not going to sit here and say that just because somebody is acting karmic in this situation, that at some point they can't make the choice to grow up and learn from their lessons. Because as a light worker, that is supposed to be my prayer and my hope for every person, no matter how karmic that person is. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that they should be completely absolved of their sins and they should not have to deal with the karmic punishments. But it's also not to me to judge that person. I can say morally, from my perspective as a human, I would not do the things that this person has done. But it's also my responsibility to check myself and say, well, why does that person do the things that they do? It's not an excuse. It's not a, well, they were abused as a child, so I guess it's okay. No, it's not. But it is important to understand other people and their choices and their actions and why they make the choices that they do. Because in examining other people is a way that you can self-reflect on yourself and say, well, I don't want to make that same mistake. Like I said in that video, I understood, right? I empathized with the karmic in that situation because I'm just going to be honest with you guys, a little personal talk here, right? I had a terrible, and still do have, a terrible relationship with my father. So I understand what it's like to chase after a man's affection. I understand what it's like to just want to be loved by somebody. I understand what it's like to chase after somebody or to give to somebody when they are just so obviously uninterested in me. Because I was coming from a place of codependency, because I was coming from a place of hurt, because I was coming from a place of being triggered by my childhood and the things that I had gone through. And just like I said in that video, I see why. However, I never let my codependency go so far as to push me as to try to trap somebody with a child. But I'm not saying that I didn't let my codependency and I didn't let my traumas push me to the point where I did things that broke up other people's relationships. I mean, I wasn't going into the situation like, I'm going to steal your man. No. I was like, I just want love and affection, and I don't care if that person is in a relationship. I have to hold myself responsible for the shit that I did in my past. I have to. And I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to not be honest with you guys about it. Right? I have made karmic mistakes in my past. We all have. And I am on a journey just like you guys are. And I am going to try from this point forward, now that I've had this talk with my spirit guides and I've really seen, I've gone back and looked at some of my readings and I'm just like, I'm being really judgeful in this moment, even though I can see myself in this person. That's probably why I'm being so judgeful, because I can see the mistake that I made and I'm like, no, don't make this mistake. But it's important that I understand that this journey, that those people's journey is not about me. And it's not about you. And your divine masculine's journey is not about you. Their journey is about them. Their journey is not about awakening and deciding to choose you. It's not. It's not. Their journey is about awakening and deciding to choose themselves. And as a result of that, eventually they will choose you. They will recognize you for who you are. But when people say this journey is not about union, that's what they mean. And if you're looking at your divine masculine, sitting there like, when is he going to wake up? When is he going to wake up and choose me? You have codependency inside yourself that you need to heal. We all do. And I'm not sitting here, shame, shame, shame. This whole video is not to shame you. It's to make you realize that it's not about you. Your journey is about you. The karmic's journey is not about you. The divine masculine or your divine feminine, your divine counterpart, their journey is not about you. And if you're trying to make their journey and their choices about you because you're tired of being by yourself, you're tired of walking this journey by yourself, you have dealt with so much stuff, which I'm sure you have, and it is hard. I know, I get it. It is hard to walk this journey by yourself, but you have to understand that is what you have to do. Because the journey is not about your divine counterpart. It's not about them. It's not about you guys being together. It's not about that. It's about, stop. It's about you. It's about you. It's not about them. And it's not about them choosing you. It's not. And this is something that I've had to sit there and tell myself, okay? You guys, I'm not alone. That's why I'm bringing this message to you, because I had to sit there and tell myself, stop. Stop sitting there and waiting for your divine masculine to choose you. Because in that, you're just doing the same thing you did when you were karmic. Waiting for that man to choose you. Waiting for, well, for me, it's a man. For you, let the energy resonate as it does. I realized that I was still being karmic, sitting there waiting for my divine masculine to choose me. I give you guys these readings just so you can empathize and understand what the divine masculine is going through. And there are divine masculines out there that watch my channel. And they need clarity just like you do. You're asking for clarity as to what your person is going through, but you need to understand that this person is going through that, and and if you really look at yourself, it's probably been echoed in your own life, because you guys are twins. So not only do you guys, echo all of the romantic things like, oh, we like the same things and we do the same things and we're on the same mission, but you also echo a lot of each other's traumas. You also echo a lot of each other's issues and a lot of your triggers and a lot of your karmic decisions and a lot of your toxic tendencies. Ask yourself why you're so mad that your divine masculine is making the same choices you used to make. Now, like I said, you might not have chosen, to stay with somebody you knew was a dark witch or whatever, somebody is telling you out there, okay? But it is important for you to check yourself and to realize that if your divine masculine has made that mistake, you probably have too. And if you take the moment to realize, shit, I've made that same mistake, then where, in what universe do you have the right to judge your divine masculine? You don't. None of us, right? We can call each other out on moral issues from our perspective, but please keep in mind too that your spirit guides are up above you with a higher perspective, looking down on some of your things and your choices and the way that you think, going, if only you knew, sis. If only you knew, bro. That at the same time you're looking down on your divine masculine, going, if only you knew. And I do understand, not all of you are doing that, but we all, it's a degree. Like I say, of everything, it's on a scale. Sometimes you just do it every once in a while. Sometimes you're constantly doing it every day, because we're all on different levels of our journey. I have come to the realization that I need to evolve beyond that. And like I said, not all of you are ready to do that. Not all of you are ready to be have the same realization that I am, and not all of you are going to come to that realization because you guys are living separate journeys, learning separate lessons. But this is a lesson that I have, that my spirit guides are like, oh, you finally get it. Like, please, and I could be honest with you guys about understanding that, yes, I've said this before on my channel. I have gotten into spaces where I'm just like obsessing, watching tarot readings, being like, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Like literally in the freaking hocus pocus, when they're sitting there and they like lift up their skirts and they're like, huh, 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 huh. Literally me walking around like, where is he? Huh, huh, huh. Why hasn't he left his karmic already? And then I had to check myself, because I realized I was just getting stuck in that cycle. And as long as I was stuck in that cycle of judging my divine masculine, what was happening in our connection was judgment. And even if in the past my divine masculine chose to judge me, I need to try to say, well, just because he judged me, that doesn't mean that I need to turn around and judge him right back. At least not without understanding. At least not without seeing things from his perspective too. Because I might not have made the exact word for word, same choices and same mistakes, but I can see myself, and I can see some of the karmic choices that I made, and I can see some of the karmic actions that I took when I was with my karmic. Oh yeah, I can see that. Because, oh my gosh, because yes, my karmic was toxic, but so was I when I was with my karmic. So was I. And it took me to the point, you guys, literally of breaking down, falling down to my knees, snot bubbles coming out of my nose, begging God, what do I do? Before the guidance came to me. Before my spirit guides were like, thank you, God, you finally asked us for help. You finally got to the stage where you are actually ready for the help. You're actually ready for guidance. So I have to release divine timing and let my divine masculine move at their pace, at their speed, in their divine time, right? They will leave their karmic, and this is for you too. Your divine masculine will leave your karmic when he learns the lessons and when it's divine timing for him to leave that karmic, okay? There might be events that need to happen between this masculine and the karmic before they can learn all their lessons, and you don't know when that is. Your divine masculine might have stayed way past what you would have dealt with. But you're not them, and they're not you. And their lessons haven't been learned yet. And you have to give them the grace and the understanding and the time that they need to learn their lessons, which is why I tell you guys all the time, if you're ready to move on, then move on. It doesn't mean you're giving up on your divine masculine. It just means that you're going, okay, you're clearly not ready, but I am. And right, I do have to understand too that when my divine masculine awakens, and when your divine masculine awakens, when your divine counterpart awakens, that does not mean that they're going to immediately leave their karmic and run straight to you. If my divine masculine left his karmic today and showed up at my doorstep tomorrow, I would send his ass packing. I'd be like, goodbye, go straight back to where, no, don't go back to your karmic, but you take your ass somewhere and go heal first. Don't come towards me, because I understood what happened. I understood what happened. I went through the awakening. I understood what happened first. I had to start awakening. I had to start realizing all the darkness and the shadow inside of myself. I had to start having all these tower moments and seeing everybody for who they were around me. I had to deal with the karma for all my karmic actions. I had to deal with the karma from all the people that I had around me. I had to wake up. I had to go, deal with my inner child healing. I had to go through my parent wounds. I had some people have to change locations. They have to move. They have to get new jobs. They have to develop and gather up their spiritual skills. They have to make amends for people in their life that they've done injustices to. That's a lot of work that they have to do. And if this person is still with their karmic, you have to admit to yourself that there's no telling how long, one, that they'll stay with their karmic until they learn their lessons. And then two, after that, there's no telling how long it'll be until they're actually healed enough for the divine to say, okay, now if they come towards you, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to give you karma. They're not going to just put all of their work on you and expect you to heal them, because that's still codependency. I was still codependent after I left my karmic. Me and my karmic have been separated for a year. Over a year. It's been over a year now. A year and a couple of months. And I just now got to the point where I was like, I could be ready to be with somebody else. Because I had a lot to do with myself. But I still have to admit, I'm still doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm still working on my channel. I'm still building my spiritual skills. I'm still now learning about myself and learning about my past and dealing with my traumas. I'm not walking through every day going, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But I am also not walking through every day going, I need him now. I'm ready for him now. Because his journey is not about me. And as long as I'm concentrated on, he needs to choose me, he needs to choose me, he needs to choose me. What would happen if he chose me right now? One, he still might be with his karmic. Two, he might still be dealing with a lot of you guys, or a lot of you guys in the collective are like, he's got black magic on him and he's got entity attachments and his karmic is still obsessed with him and he has a stepmother or something like that has been casting black magic on him. Do you really want him to come towards you with all of that BS? Because as soon as he did, you'd go, I cannot believe my divine masculine came towards me with this baby on the way and his stepmama casting spells against me. This is bullshit. Exactly. 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 So, even after your divine counterpart awakens, it's still going to take time. And how much time? As much time as it takes. As much time as it takes. I've been saying the prayer for a long time that when my divine masculine is healed and ready, that's when they'll come towards me. Not when they think in their mind they're ready, but when the divine sees that we're ready, that's when it'll happen. I have released the timing of it. I'm like, whenever it is, okay. And I've also released the fact of thinking that you have to also understand that your divine masculine or you might have to be in other relationships before the two of you come together. Okay? You might be like, thank God my divine masculine finally left their karmic, and they still might go date three or four other people before they come towards you. because we all have karmic soulmates that are here to teach us toxic lessons about ourselves. And then we also have soulmate relationships that are meant to heal us, that are meant to teach us about ourselves. And yeah, maybe some of you can awaken and come right into union, but maybe some of you can, maybe some of both of you can awaken and you both have to deal with other relationships that you're supposed to have, other dealings with, other things that you're supposed to learn from, and then you can come into union. And I can't tell you any kind of timing of when that's going to be. So release it and release your divine counterpart to, when I say that, I don't mean just let go of them and never deal with them again. Excuse me. I just mean release timing. Release them and go, just go heal yourself. Just go be happy. Go do all the things that you need to do. And when the divine says that we're ready, we'll be ready and we'll come together. I'm at that stage. Maybe some of you out there aren't at that stage, and I'm not here to judge you if you're not at that stage. That stage might come from you in a couple of days, and a couple of hours, and a couple of weeks, and a couple of years. I don't know, and it's not for me to judge your timeline on your divine healing. I'm just in this whole thing. None of this could resonate for you. You still might be in the zone where you're just like, nah, F that. And that's okay too. That's okay. You don't have to agree with me. All of this that I've said is just from my personal perspective. And you are more than welcome to disagree with me. You're more than welcome to say, no, that's not right for me, because I have no place to tell you that it's not. But I'm going to speak my truth regardless of what your truth is. And what I've spoken right now is the truth I've been delivered. So hopefully those of you who need to hear this truth will hear it. And if it gives you some kind of clarity, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you to your spirit guides for leading you here, because it's giving you the clarity that you've needed. Maybe it's just that thing you've really needed to hear and you're just like, yeah. And I hope it pushes you to a place of higher understanding, and a perspective of being less judgeful, and giving you a slightly higher perspective. And again, like I said, I am not putting myself as, if you disagree with me, I'm not putting myself as above you or more enlightened than you are. I have just come to this enlightenment for myself. That doesn't mean that it's an enlightenment for you. So if you don't agree with this, then this is not your message, love. And that's cool too. Just like I say in my general readings, Oh, yes, that's also something that I want to say. I want to say this to you guys, okay? If you guys listen to a reading and you're like, this is not what happened, that means it's not your reading. If you listen to a reading and you're like, this is not how I feel, then it's not your reading. Okay? If you listen to a reading and it confuses you more than it brings clarity to you, drop it and forget about it, sis. This wasn't your reading. These readings are supposed to bring clarity to you, period. So if a reading leaves you in more confusion than it gives you clarity, then that is not your reading. As much as it might, seem similar to your situation, anything, okay, that brings you confusion over clarity is just there to confuse you. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's not for you, okay? And that doesn't just apply to my readings. That applies to all readings, any kind of tarot readings you watch. If it confuses you more than it helps you, drop it. Forget about it. Let it go. It wasn't your reading. Okay? 100%. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. I talked way more than I thought I was going to. Oh my gosh, 30 minutes. You guys know I love to gab, gab, gab. Okay, after I upload this, I will probably be uploading just a regular tarot reading and a regular channeled message for you guys, okay? Thank you guys so much to all my new subscribers, all my day one subscribers. If you've been here, however long you've been here, thank you for being here. Even if you're not subscribed and you're just here, checking it out to see, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to just have this little speech to give to you, okay? Hopefully it brought you some kind of clarity. Hopefully it didn't make you angry. It didn't bring any kind of triggered moment to you. But if it did, I hope that in the end, it gives you some kind of peace and some kind of clarity on the other side of your anger, okay? And I hope that, that we can stay loving and kind in the comments, okay? Either way, thank you guys so much. And as always, with anything else, this is just my opinion. So you guys do not have to agree with me. I am not the say all be all in spirituality. Okay. You guys don't have to agree with me, even if my general messages usually, resonate with you. We're just, we're on separate journeys, and that's perfectly okay. Our journey is just crossing this path, and maybe perhaps I had like a small little nugget, even if it was just one sentence that kind of was like, okay, maybe, then I've done, then I've done enough. Then, even if it's something that kind of just, gets in your mind, you're kind of like later on, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, maybe, okay. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, right, for giving me some of your time. Thank you so much for being here, even though I wasn't pulling cards. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to just express my part of my journey and a realization that I've come to. I really pray that those that need this kind of enlightenment, or that those that are ready to hear this message find this message and they give it a fair chance, and that if it's not for them, that it doesn't take them off their path, or that it doesn't steer them in the wrong direction, okay? Thank you guys so, so much for this opportunity to talk to you. And I will catch you in the next message, okay? Bye, lovelies.